Hey, this is Angie.
And this is Ryan.
And we are
Happy Healthy Vegan! With new hand gestures for February.
So today we're going to answer one of the burning questions in many of yours mind.
Burning indeed.
And that is, why don't you guys eat onion and garlic?
Us.
That would be us guys. So actually Ryan was the one who got us started on the not eating onion and garlic, so I guess we can start off the combo today.
When we first started getting into the whole like 80-10-10, 30 bananas kind of scene, I was doing some research, as I always do, wondering why they are discouraging those foods, onions and garlic. And just to make a long story short, the molecules that give garlic and onions their flavors, their distinct flavors, are also the same molecules and chemicals that have some pretty nasty properties in them. Like properties that make animals or insects not eat them or something like that, or fungus not eat them. Well, that's what gives them the flavors. Fungus? Something like that. Wow. And there's that, I think some acidic sulfur or something like that. There's just compounds in there that are not agreeable for human digestion. And we all know it makes you cry, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we all know that. Well, the reason why it makes you cry is there's those nasty compounds just getting into just the eyeball, the vapors in your eyes, is not a pleasant feeling. So imagine what's going on with that stuff inside your sensitive digestive tract. And
it doesn't really sound that good, does it?
So that was the tip off. So I kind of let you know the results of my research and kind of suggested, hey, baby, maybe we should back down the amount of onions or garlic. And I have to admit, from my own background, I've never been a big fan of onions or garlic. They've always made me smell.
It's true. I remember, I always know if you went to Subway back in the 90s.
The veggie sandwich, yeah. You could smell it. You could walk in the door. I'd be sitting 20 feet away, and boom, the smell of onions. And that's, again, part of the toxic chemicals there. Just you get a little bit in your mouth. It'll create that situation. And garlic, I'd go to the gym after having eaten garlic maybe 3 days before or something like that, and I'd smell like garlic still.
I know, I remember I would never want to kiss you. I remember not that long ago I accidentally had some garlic and you complained that I smelled funny when we went to sleep.
I was trying to figure it out. That night I'm going, well, you had gone out, so maybe it was something that you got excited, had some BO or something like that.
What?
I don't know, but I sniffed around your hair and everything. I smell something. And the next night too, when we're going to bed, I was kind of sniffing. And I smelled it too. And the only thing I could realize you really did differently was you had garlic. Why did you say how you altered your food preparation after my initial research?
Yeah, when he first said no more onions and garlic, I was like, no.
It's such a common, those are the most common ingredients in cooking, right?
Yeah, pretty much anything cooked, especially, you always kind of start with sauteing onions and garlic. And of course, going to the farmer's market, I knew who had all the rad onions, all the sweet onions, and these Valencia onions, and Spanish garlic, and all these kind of really foodie things.
Really nice things, yeah.
Big grilled onions with the greens on them, and I had gotten all foodied out about onions and garlic, but you were like, no more. And I was like, no, how am I going to make my soup bases now?
So I'm glad you tried, right?
Yeah, so first I just would put less. We ramped it down, I put less. And then sometimes you used to be like, was there onions in there? I'm like, oh, you caught me,
And what's the cool thing, when we tried less, it's cool. That way you can see how much do you really need to get the flavor you're looking for. Yeah. We halved it or quartered it, and it still tasted fine, these dishes.
And I used to put, a little bit of raw onion in salads. And I noticed even some hardcore fruitarians that I follow on Instagram or Facebook, they still to this day will put raw onions in their food. But I find that the raw onions for me are even more hardcore in my system than the cooked ones. So anyways, eventually I got to the point where I didn't buy any more onions or garlic. I used up everything I had. And I just got used to the flavor of things without the onion and garlic. In fact, now when we go to a restaurant and there ends up being some, say in a guacamole, I'll really notice it.
Yeah, it stands out now.
I'll really notice it. And then what I find is when we come home, let's say we have some banana ice cream or we eat some mangoes or something, it affects the way that it tastes for me now. To me, it just kind of overpowers my taste buds for at least that day. And I actually have a friend here, actually a couple, that they deal in imported teas
from China.
Yeah, from Tibet and China and everything. And they say, according to their tea masters, that they should never have onions or garlic because it affects the way that they taste tea. And so I could see how that applies equally to how it affects the taste of fruit or any other delicate flavors. So So there's that. It affects the fruit, and of course I want to taste the fruit in its full, sweet, natural flavor.
Since we eat so much fruit.
Exactly. And and I find that I don't really need it in soups. Now, one caveat I've shown you guys often in my cooking videos, like a little frontier, like a mixed herb, little shaker, and it has no salt. But if you look closely, two of the ingredients are onion and garlic. But what I've noticed is that in that small amount, in the dried, format or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't seem to make any effect. I mean, there's hardly any, especially compared to taking like a whole onion and putting it in the soup. Just that little sprinkle is not a big deal. And speaking of effects from onions and garlic, I used to suffer from GERD, and I would sometimes get heartburn, and so obviously one of the things I did was try to get rid of anything in my diet that would cause acid reflux. And not having onions and garlic, I don't remember the last time I had either of those symptoms. Like the heartburn especially has been gone. Even I can handle some hot peppers, which I know a lot of people try to avoid that well, especially if you are doing a natural hygiene. But I can do a little bit of spice. But onion and garlic, I'm better off without it. So we're not necessarily coming out and saying onions and garlic are like evil and bad.
And have no good properties whatsoever. There might be some.
We're not really too sure, because it doesn't seem to be clear out there. When you look online, there's not like one clear school of thought on onions and garlic. In fact, people are always replying like, garlic is good for you.
That's this and that, another good thing.
Yeah.
In fact.
Yeah, okay, so in the 80s, I used to hang out with this band, Descendants, and the drummer, Bill, who used to be in Black Flag, I guess, he'd been sick, and so he got into macrobiotic eating, and part of his like cure, and this was crazy, I didn't even believe him at first, was he put raw garlic in his butthole, which everyone loved to joke about. I have no idea. I think it was supposed to like draw out the toxins.
Wow.
I know. I think since then they've developed garlic pills. But so anyway, if you're one of those people out there who like really believes in garlic, I mean, more power to you.
Yeah, and if you like to put in your butthole,
more
comment.
Power to, yeah, we want to hear all about it, right?
About this. Let us know where you guys are on this whole garlic thing. A lot of people are totally against it. A lot of people have no idea that there's even a controversy about it. So that's what this whole episode's about. Post down here where you're at in your whole garlic onion thing.
And stay subscribed for more health tips, vegan recipes and more from Ryan and I. Healthy vegan.
So until next time,
keep it carb, baby.
Keep it carb.
Conjurer's trick, but the smoke